Welcome everybody into episode number 3. Or is this no, never mind. This is number 4. I don't know how to do math. Math's not my strong suit. FKC Fantasy Hour. The Fatties are back. We're here to talk about all things kickers and defenses and tight ends because we like talking about the must-have positions. You know, we've dabbled across the market on the quarterbacks, we've dabbled across running backs, we've dabbled across wide receivers. These are the positions that nobody loves to talk about, but if you get the right ones, they can actually win you leagues. And this is a major thing that we're going to talk about throughout the course of the season. You know, tight end is probably one of the most add and dropped positions. Same with kicker. So there's going to be a lot of like streaming options and things like that. We'll talk about that throughout the course of the year. But before we get into that, let's introduce the Fatties. I'm obviously the host, Mike Bernier. I'm joined down below by good friend Ryan.
What up?
Oh, you know, the usual. And I'm also joined by Craig, who Donald Sterling himself earlier today.
Yeah.
Got him.
Yeah.
It is high. It is far. It is caught.
Sit down. Roger Clemens is in George's box. Oh, that voice.
Susan Waldman.
God, it's terrible.
So
hey,
bad.
everybody. How we doing?
Hi, everybody.
Oh, hey there, everybody. All right, so this week's episode, again, kickers, tight ends, defense. But before we get there, let's talk about something that has occurred that is, I believe, a major thing across at least the football landscape, maybe if not even the, fantasy football landscape. It is the fact that Jonathan Taylor basically just got permission to go try to find a trade somewhere else. Anybody surprised by this?
No.
Nope.
No, and I kind of like the fact that they're just like, you're a problem, and we're just going to get rid of you. You're not going to stop, and just give him what he wants. But they're not going to. They're going to go to the highest bidder.
So Jim Irsay is going to Jim Irsay himself.
Yeah, and I think it's also a sign that maybe, I not only from ownership, but where he has a problem, but if he wanted to stay, and we're fantasy show, it's kind of like telling me, like, I don't know that Anthony Richardson is any good yet, and I don't think he wants to stick around for that, because if they're going to be bad, he's going to be stuck on a bad team for a long time.
Yeah.
So if you just highest bidder, you got him. He's yours.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think the market is like that for a trade? I mean, it's funny because we talked about this. We literally just had this conversation 2 episodes ago about running backs, and me and Mike were like, second round, pass. But Can you get a second, third, fourth for him? Can you go second, fourth, second, fifth? Somebody going to give a first round pick for this kid?
Probably not. He's lower leg injuries first 2 seasons, and they don't go away as they get older.
So what do you think would be fair? Second and fourth?
Yeah.
I don't think Jim
Irsay
takes anything less than a 1 for him.
But he's delusional if he thinks he's getting a 1 for a 1-year rental.
And if you think that you're just going to let somebody on the final year of a rookie contract making $4.5 million go, and you're not going to get compensation that actually makes sense back for him, then you've lost your mind. If you're a team that needs a running back, if you think a running back is the missing piece of your equation,
yes,
he is going to find out who that is, and he's going to get as much value from that team as possible.
Oh, as he should. I'm not saying he shouldn't, but I'm just saying, what's the market value these days? What did McCaffrey go for? I want to say it was like a 2, 3, 4, somewhere around there. Maybe it was just a 1 involved.
They gave up multiple picks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's why their window is closing out there in Santa Clara.
But I think that's the bar.
Like the Rams with no draft picks.
But I think that's the bar. I don't think,
that trade. The Panthers received a 2023 second, a 23 third, a 23 fourth, and a 24 fifth round selection.
Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5. That might do it.
Okay, but that trade was also for a running back that at the age of 27 going into his 6th year, so 26 going into his 6th year, coming off of major knee problems.
I was like, how many of them healthy?
as a Christian McCaffrey dynasty owner, not as many as you would think.
I'm just trying to say, what's the bar to get this kid, though? I think a 2, 3, 4 gets it done.
Give me a 1, give me a 4, and give me a 3 next year.
1, 4, 3. I think that's too much. I don't see anybody coming off a 1 for this guy. I don't. Maybe the Dolphins out of desperation.
You don't see a team that has a very large window that doesn't need
it's also
the
an
32nd
too.
That doesn't need the 32nd pick in the draft the next couple years. I'm sorry. I don't love Isaiah Pachenko. I don't love Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I'd
got a window, go get
it. I mean, who you drafting at 32 that's better than JT Money?
Nobody.
You could trade him to Philly and get 7 running backs in return.
Yeah, we'll give you our whole
which member of the stable do you want? I want all of them sold.
Everybody but Boston Scott.
He's got 2 games to win. They're both against the Giants.
Guaranteed.
I think we win those anyway.
Probably. But this is one of those, looking at Jonathan Taylor here. Miami's obviously the name on paper that sounds like the destination of choice. Is there another team that makes sense for him to go to?
We'll see what happens after this week in preseason. Anybody gets hurt, that's going to be.
I think a lot of running backs
never looking for anybody to get hurt. But, if a team, I don't know.
I don't think there's a team that's going to be playing their starting running backs very often.
Okay, so every single team I could think of is mentioned in the AFC as well. Like you said, you just say KC, maybe you say Buffalo, and maybe you say Miami. Other than that, NFC, who else needs a running back that's up there in the top? Minnesota.
No, I think they're sticking with.
There was always talk about it. They were looking at people, Dalvin Cook as well. Yeah. When they were looking at Kareem Hunt, a couple other guys.
I'm just trying to run through it. Honestly, I get it. Jahmyr Gibbs is a nice name in Detroit, but
yeah, but you got Montgomery there.
Yeah, but you traded up to get him.
Oh yeah, no, the kid's starting. I'm not saying
but here's the thing: if you traded up to get him, what are you going to get with Jonathan Taylor, and what are you doing with Gibbs? You got to get rid of Gibbs. You can't keep them both.
Right.
Why can't you?
David Montgomery.
Wait, hold on. Why can't you? Back there? Welcome to the new NFL, Craig. You don't have one running back anymore, being the guy.
Philly.
Okay, but that's what I'm getting at. If we're talking about a team that represented the NFC having 5 running backs, why couldn't you keep Jahmyr Gibbs and Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah.
You could. You'd also have the youngest, freshest legs in fucking football.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly,
here's the other.
Honestly, the dark horse that I want to go get him, and I think it makes them a lot more dangerous. They just added a new quarterback. They got a young wide receiver. They got a pretty dang good veteran wide receiver. Send him to fucking New Orleans. You ain't got fucking Kamara for the first couple weeks because of his suspension. And even when you do, he's destined to get hurt around, I don't know, week 7.
Sure. Yeah. But the other thing you got to factor in is who's got the cap room, because he's got 1 year left. What do you trade?
What do you eat it this year and you make it work next year?
No. It's next year. The money's next year.
That's what I'm saying. So the $4 million that he's getting paid this year, okay, here you go.
That's why I think somebody's going to be hesitant to give him all those picks, and that's the place he's going to want to go and sign. Miami, yeah, everybody wants to play for Miami, but if he gets shipped to New Orleans, you think he's going to guarantee that he's going to be sign a 3-year contract there? We just gave you a first-round pick for the kid for a year. No shot.
Mm-hmm. Everything's got to fall into place when you're talking about.
If Miami wants to make the playoffs and make noise in that division, offer him a first round. KC, offer him first round. Like you said, you'll take it 25 or above for a pick. Sure, no problem. I'll rent him for a year for a first round. But
absolutely,
I don't think teams are going to do it though. I don't think Miami should, but they might not. I think you're right. Whoever gives the first pick.
What if he just fucking randomly ends up going, and Buffalo is just a team that throws their fucking arms up and goes, well, he's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Just gives up the first round pick to go get him.
That's it. Like you said, what are we looking at? High 20s, early 30s if you're making a playoff?
That's what I'm saying. There's no team that's going to go get him that you're like, okay, this is the piece if you're picking at like 12.
Yep. Yeah, they already got him. Or somebody else better.
Or they need more pieces to fucking get there. You're not sitting there at 12 as a member of the, fucking random team in the AFC South. And going, that's
the Colts. Now they might be picking early.
No, they're definitely earlier.
They're definitely earlier.
The Titans.
Yeah. Derrick Henry, don't need him. Jacksonville, Travis Etienne, don't need him. It's one of those where when you start thinking about it from that perspective, honestly, Denver's a fascinating location potentially. They love 7,000 running backs.
They just brought somebody in too
to go with Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
No, we just talking P-Ryan.
Samaje Perine, former Bengal great.
Yeah.
You know what? If I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, why not?
Sure. As a fan, why not?
Why not? Let's do it. Let's go fucking trade up. Let's go trade the 20.
It's another AFC team, though. That's what I'm saying. We're all naming it. Like
I named Detroit. I named Detroit.
Yeah. Detroit, New Orleans. That's what we got so far.
I mean, send him to fucking Tampa Bay. That division's wide open.
Okay. Purgatory, he ain't going.
1 year.
I don't think he's got a no trade clause.
Yeah.
Your property, bro. You go to the fucking highest bidder.
And that's kind of where we're at. I mean, Carolina with Miles Sanders, I think he makes them even better.
No, they're too young. They're too young for him. They're like just starting over. Why
would you invest that now and give up to barely make the playoffs?
You're going to waste 3 years of his career, and you might make the playoffs.
Hold on. Did you guys forget that Tom Brady's not in that fucking division anymore? I'm really scared of fucking Baker Mayfield and fucking Desmond Ritter. I'm not scared of either of those guys.
Oh, so what you're saying, just make the playoffs and see what happens? Like, they're not going anywhere.
I like it to gamble, and I think gambling, you're wide open in the NFC South. He goes in there. If he fits that scheme well, yes, it's a young quarterback. But guess what? He's also young. It's a young fucking team in general. It makes him better.
Just looking through the NFL, the one team that would make a lot of sense would be Green Bay.
That's a stacked quarterback.
Hold on. No. You send one of them back.
Okay, so AJ Dillon and draft picks to Indianapolis for
a young quarterback, 2 young receivers, a very young team. That's in a winnable division. You're going to be in shootouts. You add him to a team like that, and they didn't want to trade Bakhtiari because Rodgers he came out and was like, I wanted to trade for him, and the GM was like, no, you're not getting Bakhtiari.
David Bakhtiari would be traded anywhere that isn't the New York Jets.
Yes.
The GM is just refusing to trade him to Aaron Rodgers. Let's fucking be real.
I don't know. Just thinking about it, it makes a lot of sense. You're not going to send him anywhere in the West. Arizona and the Rams or whatever. We got running backs. San Francisco has running backs.
I mean, we keep saying that the Rams are whatever. I mean, the only whatever is that they don't have a ton of draft pick capital. I mean, they're not a bad team. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, if Matt Stafford can actually stay healthy, that team isn't far off from what they were when they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Years older, Cooper Kupp off the ACL, but the Rams aren't light it on fire and push it off of a cliff as much as people are making them out to be. I mean, I do think that if you're a team looking at it right now, if you're a team that thinks that you are a piece away from getting your division title, then I think this is a market that you have to look into. Personally, I don't think the Dolphins are running back away from winning that division.
I don't either.
So, am I really willing to mortgage my farm in case something happens to Tua Tagovailoa, guy coming off of 2 concussions? I think my main concern is improving the offensive line to make sure his brain doesn't splatter somewhere.
And he lost, and Teron Armstead went down and is telling people he's going to be back week 1.
Yeah, and so is Jackson Smith and Jigba after the wrist injury, but I don't think he plays week 1. I mean, let's but everyone's saying, oh yeah, he'll be back for the start of the season. No, guys, stop being fucking fake. It's 2 weeks.
It's less than 2 weeks, or actually 2 weeks.
And the thing is, too, like I was texting, I forgot who I was saying. I'm like, it's better than a lower leg injury.
Factual.
It's a wrist. It's a wrist, and you know what?
Mhm.
Keep him out of the first few games. No big
Correct.
deal.
No
No
big deal.
big deal. You know, yeah.
No, and I think you're just fine without him for the first couple weeks.
That's your future number one wide receiver down the road. Like, no, you.
Yeah, you don't rush him back just because he's a cool, shiny new toy.
Mhm.
Let's be real here. You're trying to win Super Bowls. You're not trying to win fantasy football tournaments. So what do? You let him sit on the bench for a couple weeks, and then you bring out the heavy artillery in week 4, week 5, whenever you start going against guys in your division.
Yeah.
That's whenever it matters. So we talked about Jonathan Taylor, Baker Mayfield, officially QB1 in Tampa Bay, beating out Kyle Trask. Sorry, I'll get that right eventually. I don't know. Hot garbage. How bad is the Buccaneers going to be? Are they like a 6 or 7 win team? Probably
Maybe, but I see a lot of shootouts.
a 6-win team that really should have won 10 games if they had a quarterback that was better than Baker Mayfield.
I don't think it's that. I think it's the defense. They're
See, I
going to
feel like-
listen. They're going to score points. You know, Baker can sling it. He's got a good offensive line. He's got weapons. Their defense is trash in a trash division. So basically, take the over.
Are you saying trash or Trask?
No, trash.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Division.
Trash.
Trask on the bench.
Okay. All right. Cool. Got it. Just making sure.
It's my accent. I apologize.
Yeah. Ryan, where are you at on QB1 Baker Mayfield?
Who cares? Does it really matter? Like you said, this whole fucking division is going to be a shit show, dude. I'm here for it. It's like reality TV of NFL football, honestly.
How
Bet the
bad
over
is
in
it?
the NFC South.
That's what I'm talking about. It's going to be fucking horrendous.
How bad is it that I'm like sitting here thinking to myself, and I'm like, can the Carolina Panthers with a rookie quarterback actually win this division?
Let's go. 7 and 10.
7 and 10, boys. 7 and 10 get you there.
Was that what we're striving for?
They were talking about him the other day on NFL Network, and they were like, he's slower than expect. He's like the game speed is like really, really fast for him, but they're really, really impressed with Stroud, with what Stroud's been able to do the first couple of games. But yeah, no, that NFC South is going to be just trash. It's like, oh, you're playing a team in the NFC South? I'm taking you in suicide. I'm taking all the quarterbacks in the NFC South in DraftKings because they're going to be so cheap and they're all going to put up like 40 points.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be throwing for 4,500.
I mean,
Exactly.
at least the first couple weeks, and then they'll start stat correcting it, and the next thing you know, fucking Derek Carr will be worth 13,000 on DraftKings because he's putting up 79 fantasy points a week because the final score was 52-48.
Yeah, and he threw 6.
He threw 6, and he also threw 2 more to the other team. Threw 8 touchdowns on the day. Fucking Uncle Rico over here.
Dude. It don't matter.
No, it's so bad. All right, so let's get to why you guys are actually here for this show this week. It is the final preview of the positions. We went over the quote skill positions: quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. Let's go and let's start looking at the tight ends as I bring it up here on the screen. That you guys are, if you're watching along with us, you can see ESPN Fantasy Football, their power rankings right now. At number 1, unanimous, no surprise, Travis Kelce. Anyone surprised by that?
He had a pretty good year last year. He's all right. He's good.
He's all right. He's their number 1 wide receiver and probably
Their only receiver.
the only receiver and probably a top 5 fucking fantasy football player at age, 30-something.
At number 2, we have Mark Andrews of the Baltimore Ravens, wide receiver number 1 of the Baltimore Ravens.
Standard.
He also is unanimous. Number 3, TJ Hawkinson, traded from the Lions to the Vikings in the middle of the season last year. He is the number 3 tight end, according to ESPN. At number 4 is Darren Waller. Number 5 is George Kittle. Any surprise in the top 5? Any thought process to Hawkinson ahead of Waller?
No. I don't think if you don't have a top 4 or 5, you ain't got shit. So what are we doing?
All right, 6 through 10,
right.
and this is where I'll disagree with you because I think that the guy who's sitting at number 7 is a pretty valuable piece to have. That's your boy Dallas Goedert. I love him. Kyle Pitts at 6, Pat Freiermuth at 8th, Evan Ingram 9, David Njoku 10, and honestly, number 11 is Dalton Schultz. After that is where I feel like the drop off at the tight end position really becomes apparent.
Yeah.
Um,
But this middle, I mean,
I would have both Goddard, Fryermuth, and Evan Ingram ahead of Kyle Pitts.
Absolutely.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get
agree
it.
with
I get it that Kyle Pitts is the flashy number one guy in Atlanta, but I don't like Desmond Ridder, and Kyle Pitts has proven in the last 2 years that he's untrustworthy at tight end. I don't know why people keep saying that he's a top 6 tight end. I don't think that he is. Evan Ingram with Sunshine last year proved that he is a ball catching machine. Pat Fryermuth, same thing with Kenny Pickett, just another year with both of those guys. And Goddard has proven time and time again, it doesn't matter who's throwing the football in Philadelphia. The guy just catches the football.
He's a stud, man. He really is. That might be my, like you said, I would put Goddard up maybe top 5, 6. Like that's where I think my drop off is, and then everybody else is, week to week or seasonal, I guess, is kind of how you would put them.
If
I think you would probably see Pat on the waiver wire. I think you'll see Evan Ingram on the waiver wire because people have to make tight end pickups once in a while, and swap them out.
Wait a minute. Who's not drafting Fryermuth or Evan Ingram?
Oh, I didn't say they weren't drafting them.
Oh,
I'm just saying they might not be. They might not be in the original team they got drafted. These guys.
I'm like, did we do something with the remedial league?
No, it's been done. It's happened before.
Yeah. Nick Chubb does it.
If you really don't have a top 5 tight end, are you really reaching to get any of these guys? That's where I'm at.
I'm not going to say that I'm reaching to get them, but if I get a Fryermuth, if I get a Goddard, if I get a Evan Ingram, I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
If those guys go, and I'm sitting here looking at my options are Higbee, Kmet, Greg Dolch, Gerald Everett. No, I'm drafting other skill positions, and I'm drafting one of them with like my second to last pick.
Sure.
But if I'm sitting there in the middle rounds and I have the Evan Ingram, Pat Fryermuth, Dallas Goddard selection,
I'd rather have that sweat than the next go around.
Correct, because after them, that's when things turn bleak. As it's
not necessarily. You got a guy in Schultz who could probably be one of the top 2 targets.
I agree with that. I think
in Houston, and same thing with Dulcich. Dulcich is probably number 3 out there in Denver because they lost Patrick and oh my God, who's the other guy they lost? They lost 2 receivers in the preseason.
I could give less than one fuck about the goddamn Denver.
Oh, you're talking about what's his name? The guy who's always been hurt.
Yes, and the other one, they both get hurt, but they both got
Jerry Jeudy.
No, not Judy. It's not Judy, and it's not Teddy's keeper.
Not Cortland Sutton.
No, the other kid. God damn it, Tim Patrick, and then it was the other one who got hurt.
I'm looking.
It don't matter.
No, but what I'm saying is, I see where Dulcich is, but when you think targets,
Jalen Virgil?
No. Targets, that's where you're getting your value. Who's in Carolina? Who's the tight end in Carolina? He's probably not top 25, maybe 30. But the thing is, that guy's going to get targets.
Hayden Hurst.
He's going to, but what I'm saying
is Cincinnati Bengal, great.
Yeah, rookie quarterback's best friend.
Yeah.
And
I think that's why Fryermuth.
So you can pass on the top 10. You just got to make sure you can, you hit a home run on those later round. Tight ends.
Jalen Virgil is the other receiver that got hurt.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't know who else. I know Tim Patrick got hurt. I don't know anybody else.
Tim Patrick tore his Achilles, and then Jalen Virgil hurt his knee.
Okay.
So looking at this middle area here, from Kmet down to Irv Smith in Cincinnati, a lot of guys who just can't stay healthy and are questions. And then you have in the 17 spot the rookie Dalton Kincaid in Buffalo. I get it. Josh Allen likes to throw to Dawson Knox a lot. Dawson Knox sitting in the 20th spot. Is this them trying to basically be Rob Gronkowski and gone forever Aaron Hernandez? Like, is this their approach of them being like, we don't want Josh running as much, so let's get him another tight end to throw to.
Yeah.
At 19, Mike Gesicki can't stay healthy. 21, Zach Ertz can't stay healthy. So basically at this point, when you get down here to the 17, like after Kincaid, I really feel like you're just basically just pulling a pin on the grenade and watching what happens.
Well, I mean, let's face it. If you're in a standard 10 league, there's only going to be 10 tight ends taken. So most of these guys, either you take a flyer on somebody you like late that you think is going to be good, or you hopefully get a top 10 tight end.
Yeah, because at that point, then you're literally
That's all waiver wire shit. That's what I'm saying. Once you get past top 10, does it really matter?
Honestly, once you get past probably top 12.
Yeah.
Top 12 is where I really feel like it's like
nobody's drafted 2 tight ends in any league, and if you do, you should be hit with a fucking hammer.
Does that mean that you're going to hit our good friend James Thompson, who drafted?
That's in a 2-quarterback fucking flex league. That's different.
I mean, you said you should get hit with a hammer. Are you hitting our good friend with a hammer?
Did we leave out the tight ends that he took? The top 2 tight ends. He took fucking Kelsey and fucking Mark Andrews. I ain't mad at him.
I'm not disagreeing. You're just telling me that he needed to be hit with a hammer.
In a standard fucking, snake draft PPR, if you're drafting more than 1 tight end, if you don't have fucking, the
1-2.
The 2 ones that matter, you should be shot. Okay.
Damn, we went from hitting him with a hammer to getting shot.
At this point, let's just
hands up, don't shoot.
If you're thinking I should really take fucking, Dulcich here or whoever the fuck we're talking about at this point, or whoever's past 10, shoot yourself. Okay, that's all.
Some shows like to say treat yourself. Ryan says shoot yourself.
Shoot yourself, dude. There's no point. If we're discussing them, it's pointless at this point because nobody gives a fuck past that.
We'll discuss them more in a couple weeks when we start doing daily fantasy lineups, so that we can help people win, because we're going to be streaming some rando fucking tight ends.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So is Craig in his fucking Vampire League, by the way.
Hashtag,
you should get used to a lot of these players, Craig.
Hashtag tight end you. Yes. We'll talk about that at the end of the show, because we'll go over our rosters and stuff like that.
He could sit here and look at his starting lineup while we're
buddy. In the Vampire League, I think Greg Dulcich is the highest ranked tight end.
I'm not gonna lie, I think he's right.
We took a lot too.
We did.
We took a lot. 60 picks. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
that'll happen. We'll go over Craig's potential starting lineup at the end of the show, because this should be a lot of fun. As you can see, as you can see on the screen right now, let's go over to the thing that's going to win you your fantasy football league or some bullshit like that: the kickers, because kickers win championships.
I see that.
Yeah, that's my name. Number 1 this week, or number 1 in the preseason rankings. I think this one is probably the most obvious number 1 unanimously. Justin Tucker, the best kicker in football. Anyone want to argue that? Feel free to send your hate tweets to I don't give a fuck at gmail.com, because you're wrong.
Send it. CC man.
Number 2, Cincinnati Bengal, Evan McPherson. Number 3 is Daniel Carlson. Number 4, Harrison Butker. Number 5 is Tyler Bass. Anyone in the top 5, I feel like, is a guy who's going to score points on a weekly basis based off of the teams that they're on. Daniel Carlson is going to score points because he's going to kick 50-yarders most of the time, because Jimmy G is going to stall out at about the 30 on most drives. So I have no problem if you're one of those guys that are taking any of the guys in the top 5. I will say this: the guy who has Tyler Bass at number 10 overall. Homeboy say what?
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know that I would have Graham Gano ahead of Jake Elliott. I don't know what's wrong with you people that are making these rankings, but
I guess they figure Elliott's going to be kicking more extra points, and Gano's team is going to get stopped around the 30-something and kick field goals.
Buddy, there's no way they have that good of an offensive year again this year. I think they're going to have more punts than last year.
You might be right. I mean, this is what we're arguing with kickers. It's either high-scoring offense or are they going to stall? That's where we're at.
At number 8, we have some young Hoku.
Not the young ho.
Chico.
Faux show.
Not the young Hoku. Number 9, Jason Myers. Number 10, we have Cameron Dicker of the Chargers. Cairo Santos.
Come on. You can't have a guy's name like Dicker in a fantasy league. Wow. I might have to draft him.
You will draft him. I know you will.
Hey, you can start him a vampire.
No, he can't.
No, there's no kickers in it. Well, no, wait. Like I said, Oh, we're working on that.
Cairo Santos at 11. Brandon McManus at 12. Greg the
I don't
Leg
think
Guy,
he's out. Wait, no. Who's in Denver that just got released?
Tristan Vizcaino.
Oh, never
I
mind.
saw Ricardo Blankenship got released.
That's
too.
what it was. Blankenship.
Kenny Blankenship, don't get eliminated. At number 15 is Matt Gay of the Indianapolis Colts.
Wait, how do they have at number 14 somebody who's a free agent, not even on the team, ranked ahead of guys?
Yeah, Tristan.
I want to see where he got cut from.
know.
As you guys,
Is this the guy? Is this the guy that was accused of rape back in the day and was acquitted?
So
is that the guy?
No, I don't think so. January 18th?
Sign.
No, that was January 18th. I'm looking at the. It says that he was cut from Dallas 15 days ago.
Well, there's hope for him. He's in the top 15. Let's see what happens.
August 7th, he was cut, leaving Brandon Aubrey as the only kicker on the 90-man roster, with Robbie Gould and Mason Crosby as veterans that could come in to take over. So that's
let's go.
He's as good as Gould. Is there any kickers that I mean, aside from going and getting Justin Tucker or Evan McPherson, that you're like, if I come out of here with this kicker, like I feel like I have a shot of getting a shit ton of points from my kicker? Harrison Butker, because Kansas City's going to score a lot.
That seems, and I tend to go smallmouth bass on him just because Buffalo's going to score a lot of points. That's always been my guy. I kind of hone in on just because of the simple fact that. But sometimes it'll bite you in the ass come playoff time. But that snow and the games too. Like
he's a nice Chilean sea bass.
Nice Chilean sea bass, but he's always consistent, man.
Did you say Butker or what's his name? Tucker?
I said if you don't get Tucker or McPherson, is there another kicker that you're like, if you get that guy?
Jason Sanders. Jason Sanders.
Okay.
Every Dolphin game he kicks a minimum 3.
So you're looking Dolphin scores are sometimes like it's fucking how many field goals?
Yeah, it's like
18 to 7. What? He kicked 9 field goals today?
He literally just threw a 65-yard pass to Tyreek, and then they fucking missed the next 3, and then they settle for a 40-yard field goal.
Yep.
Times 3.
Seen it too many times.
Yeah, we really have. I don't hate that pick. I also, like I said, I like the Jake Elliott with Philly. Got a big leg. If I get him, I'm not opposed because I think they're going to score a lot this year.
Yep.
You know,
exactly.
Any indoor kicker in December.
Yeah.
So whoever the kicker is for the Detroit Lions, say less.
Yes.
Got you.
Always.
I actually want to look and see who their kicker is.
You don't want a kicker going into Lambeau, Giant Stadium, Soldier
Buffalo,
Field,
like I just said.
Buffalo in December. Now I'm good.
Riley Patterson.
You lock him up, dude. Championship. That might be the one that wins it.
Riley Patterson. Sign me up, boys.
Kickers win championship. Mike.
Buddy, they do. Buddy, if I was the vampire, I would have started a fucking roster that had 37 kickers on it.
Yep.
Yes, you would, but then your crack pipe hitting commissioner decides to change rules and add stipulations after you draft. And I'm just going to post them on Facebook.
It's a miracle that thing ended, bro.
More on that later. Let's get to the final.
Why'd you call him a moron? He's not a moron.
So more on that later.
On that later.
Oh, I thought you called him a moron.
No, we're gonna get to we're gonna get the final rankings here that we're gonna talk about. That is the defensive units. Number one in most, not in the number one position for Mr. Moody, is the San Francisco 49ers. The Bills are at 2, Cowboys 3, Steelers 4, and the Miami Dolphins are at 5. Anybody in this top 5 that is undeserving or a question that you have about that?
My thing is with the Niners and Bosa. That guy's the anchor of their defense. Not saying that they would slip and fall to like 10, 12, but without him out there on the field, it makes a hell of a lot of difference with their defense.
They played without him for a pretty long time too. Don't forget he's been pretty injury ridden in his career too, and they still had a top 5 defense every single year. He's probably in or out.
Yeah, you go with Nick Bosa. I feel the question here, or the thought that I'm having here, is there are a lot of people that are still sipping the Jalen Ramsey Kool-Aid in Miami, that they're getting the old Jalen Ramsey that was the shutdown number one corner. Um, I don't think that Jalen Ramsey is playing in Miami. I get it. Xavier Howard's good. I get it. They've built a good defensive line for them. But I don't think that that's the same Jalen Ramsey anymore. And I feel
No,
like there are going to be teams that are going to go after him. And
Jalen
this is going to
Ramsey's
have to be.
hurt.
But I'm
Yeah,
just,
he knows.
but I'm just saying
Oh, okay.
there are a lot of people that are still sitting here saying that the Dolphins at 5.
The
It's
ranking
because
is
of
that high
Jalen
because of.
Oh
Ramsey.
yeah, no. I get it. I understand
That's
that.
what I'm
Well,
saying.
I think they get a full year of Chubb too, right? And
Yes,
and that they do have a good defense, but
sure. I
Ramsey
don't
definitely
know
made
that
him
they're
top five. But I think that was more like you said because of the name.
and I think it's and I don't think that they're a top 5 defense in fantasy, because I think they're
And
going
I
to
agree with
give
that
up
statement.
points.
Yeah,
And in a league where you get penalized heavier for giving up points,
Remedial.
I
yeah.
think that this is something that it could be that it could be a
Well,
question.
if you look at the two teams that are in their division, they're probably going to be a top 10 offense,
Well,
and
let's
Buffalo and
actually
New York.
hold on. Let's actually look at that. All 4 defenses are in the top 8 in the AFC East.
Yeah,
Bills at 2, Dolphins at 5, Jets
yep,
at 7, Patriots at 8.
yep.
So you
It's
got
crazy.
2 teams that should have top 5 defenses going against 4 teams that have top 8
Top 10.
defenses.
Oh yeah, top 8. Yeah, but
Jesus.
there's still going to be some points scored. You know what I mean?
Oh
Because
yeah,
the offenses are just as good.
correct.
Buffalo's offense good. Jets offense going to be good. Dolphins offense going to be good. I mean, the only question mark is Patriots, and their defense going to be good.
Yeah.
Patriots is always a sneaky defense to get, man. Always. I know we'll get to it.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Patriots there, especially with their out of conference games.
And
If there's a
it seems to me they always get those special team or interceptions taken to the house or fumble recovery. The scoring wise defense, they're probably always one of the top defenses scoring wise, just because of how
correct,
many turnovers and how many points they gain off turnovers.
absolutely. I'll say this, and this will probably be one of the first and only negative things I say about my team on this show. At number 11, I don't think that they're a top 11 fantasy football defense. Not with the schedule that they have in front of them, not with the teams that they're going to have to face. Lamar multiple times, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. They are going to face powerhouse offenses.
Correct.
I'm not running to the fence to draft the Cincinnati Bengals, and if I am, it's a pickup depending on who they're playing. Sure, week 1 against Cleveland, is that a game that you may want to start them? Absolutely, but then the schedule gets a little bit tougher there towards the middle of the season, and it might be let's move on to whomever is the next best option. They're a team that's they're gonna give up their points. They're gonna score their points. I don't think it'll be NFC South bad, but I think that there will be games where they're winning games 35-28 or 38-20, 38-35, things like that. They're gonna have to win some shootouts this year
Yeah.
because they've lost some pieces on that defense. And then you look at the teams there. Obviously, the Eagles at 9.
That's my discrepancy. Not as a homer, just because they led the league in sacks last year. And I
And the
think they
person that
got
doesn't even have them ranked is ridiculous.
I think they got better on the defensive line,
They got better on the D
Really good.
line. They did take a
Yeah, I
step
know you
back.
lost Riddick. Yeah, and I mean they signed Bradbury back, and they're
CJ
I
Gardner
think
Johnson.
well, that's a big loss. That's a big loss. But I think safety's a big concern. But I think, like you said, they had 70 sacks, led the league last year. How are you going to put a team with 70 sacks at fucking 9?
The same way that they decided to put the New Orleans Saints at 6.
That's where I would Eagles top 5, maybe not, but I wouldn't be mad if they were at 5, 6, 7.
I mean, I would put them ahead of the Dolphins. I'd put them ahead of the
I would
Saints.
too. I would too.
I have no
Patriots,
problem
Jets.
putting them right there with the Jets.
Yep.
And the Patriots a little bit behind. I have no
Yep.
problem with that. Greg, how are your feelings on Seattle at 14?
I love the fact that they're ranked nice and low. Very happy with what they've done in the last couple of years in reconstructing the defense with all the draft picks and everything. Taking Witherspoon early. You have him. You got Woolen on the other side. Quandre Diggs was one of the top safeties last year. If Jamal Adams can stay healthy this year, that's a pretty nasty secondary. They've already talked about, Legion of Boom, part two. No. Go out there and do something close to what they did. But I think they can be sneaky if their secondary plays as well as they're expected to. You're going to get a lot of pressure from the guys up front, more intangibles, sacks, tackles for loss, stuff like that when it comes to fantasy. The one thing I really want to see in them is turnovers. Gotta just get to the ball, turn it over, get those intangible points, for your fantasy team. Can they sneak into the top 10? Sure. Top 5? Who the hell knows? But depending upon your scoring, like some leagues don't have it available. Like I know we have it on Yahoo, but like in NFL, they do not have tackles for loss. And when it comes to your defense and your scoring, we're in a league, me and Ryan are in a league, the remedial league in NFL, where you give up a field goal, bro, or a touchdown, you lose like 7 points.
I mean, your defense can't even score. If they get 0 or 1, you're like, yeah,
and it's like, so if you're into a league, like I said on Yahoo, you have other intangibles you could add. Check your settings, look in your league. See, every league is different.
Like you said, defense kickers win championships, man. I mean, I know we don't get much love, but it definitely gets you there. Having one of those, high scoring defenses and a kicker that you can rely on, that's a difference of 20, 30 points a week, probably.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's have some fun here, boys and girls. Let's go to the Vampire League, because this is something we got to talk about. If you're a member of the league and you actually listen to this show, I'd like to say,
oh my God, there's somebody behind you.
Yeah, I know. It's the Vampire.
No, I'm the Vampire.
Sorry.
That's right. You
Sorry.
are the Vampire.
So let's talk about this, because people don't know how to schedule things accordingly. We literally did this offline sleeper fantasy style, where literally at some point, I think me and Ryan said to ourselves, hang me upside down and let the blood rush to me.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
Lesson learned on this one, all around, a lot of areas. We're going to touch on them.
And don't do crack.
Don't do crack.
Don't do it. So the schedule has been released.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Wait, was this schedule made by them, or did the?
No, it's on his. Actually, he did another montage video for you guys to randomly select the schedule again.
Sick, love it. Not going to watch it.
I didn't watch it either, so it's out there, boys. Hunter's back on the laptop.
So he gets to face yours truly. Week number 6, I have nobody on bye out of my starting lineup. He gets to face Ryan. He gets Ryan week 9, where Ryan will not have the services of Trevor Lawrence, Cortland Sutton, or George Kittle. But
I play you. This is me.
Yeah, that's when you play Ryan.
But I got Derek Carr as my backup.
Yes, Derek Carr against Chicago.
Okay.
He's the only member of your quote starting lineup that won't be available that week.
A lot of receivers on that lineup, Craig. I will go through. We'll go through.
All right.
Go through.
Not like I've never lit $100 on fire before.
Me neither.
Ryan had the number 1 overall selection. I will read off his team, then we'll read off mine, and then we'll talk about some other notable rosters.
You can read off my roster.
I will. We'll get to that last.
Fucking tight end,
10 to 20.
I dropped everybody.
Tight end you. Yeah. So Ryan with the number 1 overall pick, his roster, he took Justin Jefferson at 1. The rest of his roster is Trevor Lawrence, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Mark Andrews, Drake London, Deontay Johnson. The bench is currently Cortland Sutton, George Kittle, Zay Flowers, Quentin Johnston, Derek Carr, Nico Collins, Jalen Warren, and then 2 auto picks of Van Jefferson and Tyler Higbee.
Let's go.
Fuck it, I want this draft to be over.
Over and done.
My roster, I had the number 2 selection. I homered it up. I took Jamar Chase. The rest of my roster: Dak Prescott, C.D. Lamb, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker III, Javonte Williams, Mike Evans. My bench currently sits as John Dodson, Brian Robinson, Jared Goff, Hollywood Brown, who somehow randomly fell to me in like the 37th round as a number
They
one wide
listened to
receiver.
the podcast, dude. They heard.
Good. I'm glad. I was playing decoy mode.
I
Marquez
see that.
Valdez.
It's a trap.
Yeah, thank you. Marquez Valdez Scantling, Rashad Penny, Evan Ingram, Gus Edwards, and then I took the rookie Jaden Reed out of Green Bay. Those are the two rosters of the guys who are on the show every week. I want to sit here and I want to talk about a team, and he works with us, so I'm going to try to take it easy on him because he probably is going to listen to this show. When you have Josh Allen and Danny Dimes with the same bye week,
you might have a problem.
What are we doing, my guy?
What are we doing?
I
forgot to look at the rules.
Forgot to look at things, boys. That roster is Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins, Miles Sanders, Michael Pittman, Danny Dimes, Antonio Gibson, Kadarius Toney, Paris Campbell, Dalton Kincaid, Pat Fryermuth.
That's the one that questioned, like, a rookie tight end in a fucking vampire league. What are we doing?
In the 11th round. Pat Fryermuth, Rondale Moore, Matt Breida, and Alex Pierce.
Half that lineup like 4 years ago would have been solid.
Stat 4 years ago.
4 years ago, that's a fucking stacked lineup. This year, not so much.
I want to say that there's another one that has quarterbacks with the same bye week.
Yeah, there was Kayla.
Oh, okay. Let's get to that roster so you guys can sit here.
Is that Countess?
Countess Parker?
Yes.
Jalen Hurts, Tyreek Hill, Travis Etienne, Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts, Brendan Ayuk, the injury-plagued Matt Stafford, Dallas Goedert, Samaje Perine, Devin Singletary, Tyler Algier, Cole Kmet, Dalton Schultz, and Mecole Hardman. You have two quarterbacks with the same bye week, and you have 37 tight ends on your roster.
And go. I mean, it's not a bad lineup, but the Matt Stafford backup and on the same bye week, like, you might as well not draft a quarterback. Like, Buddy's not going to see the field after week 6.
Yeah, you should have just left Matt Stafford out there for Craig. He could have started week 1. So those are just a couple of teams that I wanted to hit on. All right, let's have some fun here. Let's talk about the options that Craig has. We'll start with the quarterbacks that he has available that are starters.
That's important.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Got him.
At Denver. Mac Jones against the Eagles. Sam Howell against the Arizona Cardinals.
Got him.
Baker Mayfield at Minnesota.
Starting Tampa quarterback.
Kenny Pickett, San Francisco. Bryce Young at Atlanta. Ryan Tannehill at New Orleans. CJ Stroud at Baltimore. Colt McCoy at Washington. And Desmond Ridder against the Carolina Panthers.
Rough Ridder, let's go.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, the guy that I'm
That's who I would start. That's who I'm starting.
Sam
Howell. He said it all. He's like, man, Sam Howell. I'm like,
Sam Howell's the guy, boys. I'm starting him against that shit-ass Arizona defense.
Fan now, dude.
No, I'm just starting him against the worst defense that's available, and it's the fucking Arizona Cardinals. They're going to be hot garbage.
So true.
Honestly, Baker Mayfield in the dome against Minnesota, that could be a shootout. You've already mentioned the fact that he's going to have to throw the ball all over the fucking place to win games. That's not a bad option. Other than that, I feel like it's pretty bleak. I don't want Garoppolo against Denver. I don't want, Mac Jones against Philadelphia. We talked about how many sacks they had last year. I don't want to fucking watch my quarterback die. Kenny Pickett against San Francisco. Pass. Just pass on Pickett this week. The next week, maybe, but not this week.
That's what I was saying. Pickett might not be bad play.
So then looking at the flex options as the top projected player points-wise that are available, Craig can just change his name from Garlic My Balls to Tight End U, because that's pretty much what he's got to choose from. It's Taysom Hill. I don't even know how to pronunciate this, but I'm going to go Chigoziem Okonowowo
Whoa.
of Tennessee. Greg Dulcich, Chuba Hubbard, and Jonathan Mingo, the two options out of Carolina. Gerald Everett, Sam Laporta, Deonta Foreman, Woods and Gesicki, tight ends. Robert Woods, Damian Harrison, Buffalo. Logan Thomas before another concussion in Washington. If you love the Sam Howell, Logan Thomas stack.
Stack them. Stack them.
Stack them, smash them, slack them, whatever you want to do. Darius Slayton, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Dawson Knox, Zach Ertz, Noah Fant, all options. Looking at this, I'm going to put it together a quick 7-person lineup, and then I'll let you guys figure it out afterwards. I'm starting Sam Howell. My 6 flex are Taysom Hill. I hope he throws 2 touchdowns. Greg Dulcich, Chuba Hubbard, because maybe Miles Sanders will have turf toe week 1. I don't know. He's bound to get hurt at some point.
Goal line hack.
Deonta Foreman, because I feel like he might steal goal line carries in Chicago. Robert Woods, because he's a number 2 wide receiver in Houston. And Dawson Knox, just because I think that Josh Allen won't get Dalton Kincaid involved right away, and I think he's going to go to a security blanket.
Sounds like a strong lineup, though.
I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah, if you scroll down.
If you scroll down. Buddy, we understood the assignment. You wanted this.
Buddy, I believe me, I know I wanted this. I just didn't want fucking things changed after a draft.
Well, yeah, we should have had, because now, like we talked about earlier, with the kickers and defense not being available.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. You could have had, let's see.
No, right now I would have everybody.
Justin Tucker, San Fran D.
No.
Okay,
You could have had Javonte Reed and Gus Edwards, because I probably would have went kicker defense with my last ones just to take high point scores off the board.
I wanted to take Gus, and I didn't. But yeah, if there was a defense or a kicker, I might have taken him, Craig. Honestly,
they should have been available, because when you guys have bye weeks, you could just plug them in.
I'm telling you straight up, when I picked Gus Edwards, if Evan McPherson or Justin Tucker or the Niners defense or the Eagles defense was there, I was drafting any of them over Gus Edwards.
All right, how about we do this then to make it fair, just for, that way. What if we reopened it? Anybody who wants to take a kicker, drop a pick that you have. It has to be somebody you picked. That gives you waiver wire options, right?
Here's the thing. If you're saying no, then you can't have kickers and defenses, because if I didn't get a chance to draft them, why should you be handed them?
And I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. Okay. But I'm saying
you're right.
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I would have drafted McPherson, Tucker, or whomever over those guys.
What if you had the option to do it before it's back open up to Craig to drop anybody you want to replace it with a kicker or a defense? Would you be open to that?
I would be open to top 5 and top 6.
What, picks?
No. If you guys are going to go in now,
right,
and take point scorers away from me,
right,
because of a
also open it back up to you.
Also, yes, I get that. But here's the thing: you can't have you guys going in and dropping 22 players and scooping up the top 11 and the top 11.
No.
I'm saying if that's the case, any combination of 11.
I would honestly give people the option. You can drop one and pick up one kicker, or you can drop one and pick up one defense. You can't. So what I would do is
I like that compromise. That's fair.
Because at that point, if I drop Gus Edwards for Justin Tucker,
it gives him an option.
That gives him an option if the running back committee. But I get Justin Tucker, who's going to be a guy who could score him 20 points in a certain week.
Okay, I think that's fair. I would bring that to Hunter.
I'm totally good with that. I'm absolutely fine with that.
I'm just saying, because at this point, when I have those last 2 picks sitting here, I drafted a rookie in Green Bay that may not see the field, and I drafted a guy that I need 3 guys to get hurt to see the field.
And then you have a kicker. At least you can plug and play for the next.
Or I can put in Philadelphia's defense if I took them instead, because I know that they're going to get sacks.
Yeah, but what if you get Justin Tucker indoors in week 11 and you've got 3 people on a bye, and you're looking at your other options and you're just like, give me a kicker for the week.
For sure, absolutely.
But here's the thing: what if you're playing me that week? And what I'm saying is you want to win. You don't want to lose a player, so you're going to go with your best option.
Correct. Absolutely. But at this point, yeah, bless you. I would have taken the option during the draft. I even brought it up to Ryan during the draft. I looked at him and I said, I can't find Justin Tucker. I can't find Evan McPherson, because I would have taken them probably earlier. To not even bullshit you, I probably wouldn't have. I would have probably taken a kicker before I took Rashad Penny. I probably would have taken one before I took Evan Ingram, because at this point I'm playing the strategical game of, now I have Justin Tucker and now I have Philadelphia or San Francisco's defense, two guys that could put up 40 points for you.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, sure. You can have Gus Edwards, you can have Jaden Reed, you can have Evan Ingram, who are projected to score a combined 25 points this week.
Definitely take Evan Ingram.
But that's what I'm getting at.
That's an option for you to have, right?
I would have taken those guys if they had been made available during the draft, which would have also given you a potential to have better point scores than having to fade and hope that Greg Dolch catches 2 touchdowns, or that Taysom Hill randomly decides to gadget play something in fucking New Orleans.
Right. I think we need to bring this up, obviously, and then, we were discussing before the show started the playoff format of this. So
yeah, talk about that.
That too. So, before, obviously, we stated the rules haven't been stated. We're kind of, flying by the seat of our pants with this one. So I think you actually brought up a good point. Can the Vampire take a position player from a playoff team? Valid question. I was like,
yeah, I made that. I brought that up today at work.
So that's how the conversation got into what's the playoff format and what are we doing? Craig and I talked about, top 6. We don't have divisions, so it's top 6. Okay. If Craig is tied with somebody for that last playoff position, what do we do? Because normally it's either common opponent or points total.
Mm-hmm.
Craig is a Vampire. First 3-4 weeks, he's not going to get any points. Let's face it. He's
say
hoping to get a win.
I would say that the rule should be that
points behind.
I would say that the rule should be, if he finishes tied, he gets the automatic tiebreaker for fucking starting behind the 8 ball.
Because, like he said, I can't.
That was Craig's right. He can't catch him in points, but I think it's going to be common opponent or versus record against common opponent if you guys are tied too. But if only that scenario will play out if you only play somebody twice. Like, if you play somebody once, it's head to head, and you beat them, then you're in the playoffs.
Sure,
I think that should be the way it is anyway. So I don't think points should really factor in.
I would agree, especially with him starting behind the 8 ball.
So then our other conundrum that we discussed prior to the show was...
Well, hold on. Let's finish the conundrum of, can he take players if he wins a playoff game?
Well, that's
I personally said no when we had that conversation. I feel that when we get to the playoffs, those rosters should be locked, and that is who you're riding with. Now, the Vampire, Craig, could still pick up people from the waiver wire, but he cannot take anybody from anyone's roster.
No.
I would say that whomever makes the playoffs, the other 5 teams, their rosters are locked. You cannot take from them. You cannot move from them. But Craig can then pick up somebody. Oh, someone blew out an ACL in week 12 or week 14. Right. He can pick up the new number 1 running back of a team and have that as an option to go with the other weapons that he has now procured from winning games as the Vampire.
Mm-hmm. And it's like we said before that, if the Vampire if I make the playoffs, I'm going to have a squad.
That's exactly my point. He's going to get 6 players.
Getting into the start lineup. In the playoffs, it's not about the Vampire. Oh, I need that guy now and you don't need that. So no, once the playoffs come, that's it. It's just now it's fantasy for the for the playoffs.
If you got 6-7 wins, you're taking 6-7 good players off every one of those teams. Period.
Exactly.
So you already got to start the fucking set lineup.
Yeah, and
that's going to be my next point with the advantage of you making the playoffs that we were getting to.
Yes, but like I said before, I'm also at a huge disadvantage to start. So when you get to that point, if I make the playoffs, it's deserved. It's like, hey, shit happens. I was selected to be the guy to throw $100 away to start this league, and everybody has to have that. You have to have that mindset with this type of a league. Absolutely. You're throwing away $100. If you make it to the end, bonus. and you should be rewarded going forward that nothing should change. Whatever it was in week 1 should be the same in week 16, 17, what have you. And going, like you said, going forward, these are things that, you could tell this guy has not done this before.
None of us have that, and that's why.
No, I'm not saying the concept. I'm saying fantasy. Like this guy had no date, he had nothing selected.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, oh, let me just throw this out there. Yeah. Any one of us do this. It's so much. Everything is taken.
I was saying to you guys that I'm using this more as preseason to really make this something special next year too as well. And then my second point was going to be get into the playoffs, and we discussed this prior to the show. Was and honestly, we found this on a Google search on how to even make the playoffs possible in a Vampire League. We were, Mike's question brought up a very valid question that actually answered all of this. So basically what we're doing, and obviously Craig's not happy about this, if Craig does not, as the Vampire, if Craig does not make the playoffs, the way it's structured and the rules he put out is basically if he has taken anybody off anybody's team, if he's won, they're going to be returned to the teams that he took them off if they're in the playoffs. If not, they become free agents for playoff teams to pick up. And said in waiver order, I guess. I don't even know how you determine the waiver order. I guess you go by record at that point. For everybody to be available, which Craig disagrees with highly, and I kind of agree too. All that work, if he took them, they're gone. If they die, they die mentality, man. You don't get them back.
If they die, they die.
Right? Everybody gets a ribbon and we start over again.
It's a gimmick league, and part of the gimmick is that it's a vampire. Vampires kill. Once I take the soul should not be returned in that aspect. So no, if I don't make the playoffs, no, that's like I said, I'm starting at such a disadvantage. Yeah. Anything I gain going forward is all a bonus for me. Yeah. And why should somebody be rewarded at the end of the season when, oh, Patrick Mahomes got thrown back out there, Justin Jefferson got back out there? Why should and then how do you determine the waiver wire if there isn't one? There shouldn't even be one, but there is one. I get it. The league sets it up. Mm-hmm. How do you determine the waiver wire? Do you have to do it now? Do you start it over between you guys? Is it just reverse draft?
You go by record and playoff time.
See, but I don't necessarily.
I don't think you can do it that way. You have to set it up preseason.
Oh, so right. Most this is all fucking shit.
Like here in Manning's league, the first week in almost every league is reverse draft order.
Correct.
So if you're going to wait till I don't make the playoffs, come that week, Ryan, you lost a player, but you need somebody, right? And my guys are getting ready to be released, but you had the first pick. You're 11. You're 11 on the waiver wire. Yeah, you're not. You don't have a shot. Actually, he's being released from my team.
You're actually 6th on the waiver wire because there's only going to be 6.
Because you're 6 teams, yeah. So I'd go immediately to the back.
You're automatically last either way.
No. What I'm saying is, once my team is eliminated from the playoffs, whatever week that is.
No. I would say it has to be at the playoffs that.
No, it's a playoff that it doesn't get released. If you're not in the playoffs, it doesn't just release. It's a playoff time. Like,
it's when the playoffs start.
And only so only the teams in the playoffs can get their players back.
So it's not a waiver wire. What it is it's if Craig beats me in week 6 and I make the playoffs and he doesn't, and he goes, I want Jamar Chase. Going into the playoff week, I get Jamar Chase handed back to me free.
Because he didn't make the playoffs.
So we don't need a waiver wire. We don't need a waiver wire at that point.
Correct.
I still say once your soul's been taken, you don't get it back.
I'm in agreement with that.
I'm in agreement with that too. And that's why I thought that was the whole concept of the league.
But it's also, but here's the thing. Like, yes, we all think of the playoffs and the players and the advantages, but you still want to have fun with this shit. Like, this is so much fun. Like, I talk to people at work and they're like, what are you talking about? And they're like, holy shit, that sounds great. So I was talking to Craig about it earlier. I was telling him, remember the kid, Brian, heavyset kid, Dolphin fan, beard, always sits in the one. He used to be a cook or something too, right? Anyway, he's big into fantasy. I showed him. I talked to him about it last night, and I showed him my phone. He's like, you have absolute fucking dog shit. I go, that's the point. Yeah, you know it. So like, you have fun with it. You know, don't like. I know everybody gets so wrapped up in shit. I want to win money come Christmas time. Believe me, I want my name on a championship. I want money. So, but like this shit talking and the fun, have fun with it.
Yeah.
But just get your shit fucking organized first.
All right. Well, like I said, we're trying, but I think there's stuff to discuss because obviously everything the schedule came out. At least that's done.
And we have time because the season starts in 2 weeks, so there's
the draft only took 10 days, but we're good. We got there.
I think maybe a group text or on Facebook.
I told him he posted a video on Facebook with the rules.
I'm not watching his videos.
Okay, so then let's.
It's a phone going like this on a computer screen.
I know, bro. Stop.
Buddy,
the Blair Witch draft.
Screenshot it, bro. Just screenshot it.
All right, so that's the fun that has been the draft, and us wanting to slam our heads into a wall.
I hope this thing gets going. By the way,
yeah, dear God, we're getting ready to get to the point where we have some things coming up. Not this Sunday, next Sunday, the three of us will be live in attendance for Draftapalooza 2023. Yeah, well, maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll go live.
Warming up now. Look at him.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go live on Instagram for some of Draftapalooza. We'll figure it out.
Mike, don't break any chairs.
I'm bringing my own. Fuck you guys.
BYOC, bring your own chair, dog.
Yeah. Fuck you guys.
What are these chairs made out of?
How is this thing well?
So for those of you who weren't there for the fun, we'll tell the story because I laughed my ass off afterwards.
Player down.
Exactly. I looked like a turtle.
Dealer down.
Turtle on my shelf. Yeah. So
like he actually got shot in the shins, dude.
I really felt like I did. So you got new legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Sniper, bro. Sniper.
So
you ever see those Chuck Norris sniper videos? They're the best.
We'll get the story on it. I swear, guys. Draft at last year at our good friend Mr. Manning's home, who will be hosting again. Was so elegantly placed out some of those beautiful white plastic chairs that you can find at your local Big Lots, your Lowe's. My fat ass decided, hey, I'm going to sit on one. The grass looked like it hadn't been cut in like a week or two, so it was pretty damn tall grass. All of a sudden, I got up to make a pick. Next thing you know, all we heard was
snap.
What sounded like Sid Vicious's leg when he
jumped
shot
the pew pew.
And all of a sudden, the back right leg of the chair decided that it was enough time that it was given out on my fat ass, and all of a sudden, I just went slow motion too. There was just, I feel like you could have entered the Sarah McLachlan in the Arms of an Angel fucking song in the background. Maybe the intro to the Titanic song as I just went down. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting on the ground and I go, who just got picked? And everyone turns around and looks and they're like, why is Michael in the fucking ground?
He looked like a turtle, like stuck on his back.
Just out. All of a sudden I got, are you okay? And then I hear Manning in the background go, don't sue me.
Sounds about right.
You fucked up his lawn.
That damn grass, it was too tall.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to get there early and just do like the spray chalk outline of where I landed last year,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be upset.
There's going to be a stone bench for you this year.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I already have a chair. It's got steel legs. It'll hold my
He's
back.
going picnic style. He's laying on a blanket. we ain't taking any chances.
His chair is
too far. It's too far of a fall, guys. I can't. It's spinal.
Just make sure that chair is built to code.
Oh, it is. Don't worry. All right, so that's kickers, defenses, and tight ends. That is the Vampire League wrap up. Next week on the show, you guys will get to experience a mock draft, Fat Kid Certified style. So what we're going to do to start the show is we're going to do a mock draft where the three of us will coincide on picks for the first couple rounds. And then we'll do something where, depending on how many people I can get to join on the show, what we'll do is we'll do a 6-person mini mock where I'll keep track of the players that are selected, and we'll do it best ball format where the winning team will get something later down the road.
Prizes and gift cards?
Yeah, sure.
Why don't you just pull a Funko back there, man?
Yeah, hold on. Show me.
Yeah. Can we take it?
the winner gets Anna from Frozen.
Let's go. Let's go.
Other than that, guys, you have anything before we get out of here?
No, can't wait. Couple more weeks. Let's go.
Next Sunday. Let's go.
Yeah. So
Next
week
let's
is
go.
next week is the mock draft.
we're gonna have to we're gonna have to talk maybe some rosterbation techniques after next Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, and we could go over keepers. Our keepers are due this Sunday.
Yep, we'll go over that.
Our keepers are due this Sunday. Yeah.
So we'll announce the keepers on the show. We'll go over those. We'll talk about why we kept, who we kept, and why we didn't.
Yep. And what decisions we had to make, maybe.
Yep. Yeah. And then we'll obviously do the fun stuff.
That is break down Teddy's decisions too, or what he kept. We can break that because we'll know what he kept by Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
We can roster bait to that.
Let's go 3. Who? Is it going to be Christian Watson at the 3?
Has anybody got grade 3 sandpaper that we can help Teddy roster bait to? Because that fucking shit's gonna hurt.
It's yeah.
So that's next week's episode. The following week is Craig's birthday. He won't be here.
Hey, happy birthday.
Ryan may be out of town. So you may get a solo episode where you'll actually get to listen to me talk about things while I do Craig's brother's draft. But we'll figure that out in a couple weeks. But otherwise, guys, we appreciate you guys listening. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, thumbs up. Listen to all the cool stuff on Huddle Up Incorporated. You can find all the links on Big Jim's Twitter feed. The link tree is in there. It's at Big Jim Sports. You can check out the Huddle Up Incorporated store over on TeePublic. Get your T-shirts, support the brand. Otherwise, guys, that's going to do it for us. We will see you guys next week for more fantasy football information right here on FKC Fantasy Hour.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Have a good night, everybody.